Yo guys, it's finally time for part 1 of my new Holy Roman Empire guide. The first guide was one of the first ones I made when I was relatively new at the game, and we understand the game so much better now. I wanted to jam-pack everything into a massive multi-hour guide that treats many different civilization matchups as well as some of the best practices for a fast castle and so on. Alas, I'm afraid that the first part of the guide would get too old by the time that the meta game develops. So we're gonna go ahead and upload this first, as a lot of people have been asking me about this guide coming up. Without further ado, I bring you Holy Roman Empire Fast Castle with a way into Imperial as well. And additionally, in the second part of the guide, there's going to be a part that deals with Holy Roman Empire Mirror Matchup, so HRE versus HRE. It's a much better way to play than I used to be doing it. Someone owned me with it thoroughly twice, although I ended up winning one. But the opener is so good, I tried it out and I've been dominating Holy Roman Empire mirror matches. Later on, we'll come with new solutions to Mongols, English and Rus, and I'll be adding them to part 2 of the guide. But for now, enjoy this one. Hey guys, and welcome to a new and refreshed build order of the Holy Roman Empire into anything. We're going to be showing you 3 things in this video. I want to show you the ideal circumstances fast castle, where you can try to get as many relics as possible for the Regnitz Cathedral, which is one of the most popular builds for me and on the ladder right now in general for Holy Roman Empire. After that, I'm going to be showing you a build with a fast expansion, which is kind of meta and a new build that I've been developing into Rus. And after that, I'll show you another one. You can see the chapters for that, but I want to focus on what's happening here. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your 4 villagers on the first sheep. As you do that, you move the sheep towards the town center to make sure they have less walking distance. You're then going to take the other nearby sheep and put them towards the Aachen Chapel orientation of your town center. Out of the 6 starting villagers, you send 2 immediately to the gold. 1 to build this mining camp and 1 to gather from the gold. This is important because if you put 2 on the mining center, you're actually losing out some optimization there. The first new villager after the prelate, who inspires your first 4 starting villagers, goes to your gold mine as you give him a buff with your inspiring prelate. You can hit W and hit that villager as it comes out of the town center. By then, all 4 starting villagers should be inspired. You re-inspire the starting villagers at the food. You then move your you move your prelate to the gold and inspire all 3. Once you've done that, go back to the food. Your food distribution should look like 402. Then it's going to look like 402. Then it's going to be 502. Then you're going to have the third on gold. And then you can have 703 in total as you're inspiring the food. The scouts will come back and walk like this, then right click on the town center, which drops off the sheep right there. You can even pick them up and bring them closer if you like. You have a 703, now an 803 split, food on food, wood and gold. And the next villager is going to go to wood to build a lumber camp. Once you feel like you've pretty much inspired all the villagers here, you can move your prelate back into the gold to start inspiring them. But food is more important right now, as you will reach the 200 required for your landmark. As you see, you now have enough food. You then press Ctrl F, which is highlight food villager, and then you right click your town center, and you do that 3 times in a row. Ctrl F, right click on town center, Ctrl F, right click on town center. So very fast, which makes 3 food villagers drop off the food that they have. And then you press Ctrl F1, which is all idle villagers. You can choose your own hotkey for this, and I've chosen Ctrl F1. You take all idle villagers, and then you press T for the Aachen Chapel, and then you choose Aachen Chapel, and then you build it in between the trinity of your sheep collection place, your wood and your gold, if the map allows. It's not always like that. If you've got to make a choose 2 out of 3, do highlight food and wood above gold. Gold is important, but you can try to squeeze out a quick second prelate in order to inspire them as well. They are going to be the lowest amount of villagers in general, so it's more important to cover wood and food. 3 villagers on the landmark. You take every other villager off of food safe for the 4, provided that you've got a bit of a food bank. You start gathering wood, you keep 3 on gold, and you make a lumber camp as soon as wood requires, even as the scout is looking for more sheep across the map. And then you've got your meal finished, you keep 6 on food, maybe 5 should be enough. You now want to get as much wood as possible. Here is the follow-up plan. We make the house, right? We do inspirational buffs all over. Our goal is to get professional scout tech. We want to have 275 gold and 150 wood for a stable and 75 for the professional scout tech as quickly as possible. So we're looking for 225 on wood, 275 on gold as quickly as possible. Okay, things are coming along nicely. I think we could have had 1 fewer food villager, but it's okay to build up a bit of a bank because we want to go very quickly to castle as well. Note how we perfectly have 276 gold as we reached feudal age. We start the professional scout stack. We do a forced return of wood to get that 150 wood. I now see, hey, it just wasn't enough. Gonna grab 2 more, make the stables, and make that stables. Then you want to pull every villager off of wood except for 2. You also want to power build the stable with a total of 3 villagers. So I'm going to take 2 more. If you can do this more cleanly, more rapidly, be my guess, it's going to be totally good. We now have a 2-9-5 split as we route more villagers onto gold. We want to get to 6 villagers on gold as quickly as possible. We're also going to start stone mining camp. Now, strictly speaking, the fastest possible castle and imperial age does not involve a stone mining camp. But I'm going to do this anyway because there's also a small little concession towards one of the hardest matchups in this build, and that is Roos. Roos tends to yoink the relics away before our holy prelates can get it, and their sacrilegious warrior monks steal those relics away and bring them back to their rather nasty Abbey of the Trinity instead of the very beautiful Regnitz Cathedral. As soon as our stables finishes, we're going to make 3 scouts total for a total of 4. And meanwhile, we just have 2 on wood, and we're going to spread a 2-to-1 ratio roughly for food to wood, which makes sense because we need twice as much food as gold. I should say gold. A 2-to-1 ratio food to gold because we need twice as much food compared to gold to tech up to the castle age. So we're gonna be making villagers though as well, and that means we need to have slightly higher, actually more like a 2.5-to-1 ratio food to gold. Now we're going to be bringing back carcasses of the deer so that we have more food under the safety and the buff of our town center and Aachen Chapel respectively. After 4 scouts, you are going to stop using your stables. I will say that adaptation is allowed. You're allowed to see certain pressure where you may want to make 1 or 2 horsemen, but everything you make here is going to delay you. And we'll cover other build orders later on where you get pressured, where you want to defend, and so on and so forth. So feel free to play around with it, but it's going to affect your castle timing. We just have 1 on stone right now. That's for springled towers later. We're going to start making our outpost on one of the relics. Keep the following in mind. Roos can reach castle age. They can start at 7:30 or 8 into castle age. We're actually getting much closer than that as well. And they can reach castle age at 8:30, means that the first horse archers could be at your base at 9:15. So start this outpost nice and early. We have enough resources at 7:25 for the Regnitz Cathedral. We're going to pull the berry villagers off. We're going to pull some of the sheep villagers. And we want to power build this with about 10 villagers. We also are immediately going to start prelate production. That's why we keep 6 on gold, even though we've already started castle age. Outpost here. Then we're going to start an outpost on another relic. We're looking to provide a fallback point for our priests, our prelates, as they go for the relics, in case scouts or horse archers or anything else finds them. We are now starting prelate production the moment we've got 100 gold. Very important to start that as quickly as possible. And probably if I had 1 more on gold, 7 instead of 6, I could have started that earlier, and I could actually have 3 prelates ready in position on 3 relic locations, which is the dream. It can be optimized even further. New villagers are now going to wood, because besides prelates and retrieving relics, we want more outposts, and we also want more stables, as we'll be pumping out a couple of nights. Okay, now we are starting to spread our prelates around. I'll show you where they are. One is going for this relic on the minimap here, if you see my cursor. One is going for this relic, and then one will be going for this relic here. Our villagers have finished the outpost production here. We're going to put our scouts in to stop this AI spearman attack. But you can consider like this is like 7 scouts of Rus. First relic is going to get retrieved here in the top of the map. Note that we are pulling the prelate from our Argent Chapel so that momentarily we don't have any buffs. When our prelate comes back with the relic, keep in mind if he gets attacked by horse archers or otherwise, you can actually pop him in here. And I'm actually going to pop him in just for a second to inspire everyone, which is a global buff in this area that lasts for 30 seconds. So it's worth the detour. We're now sending him to the Regnitz Cathedral. This relic is coming back as well. This relic is coming back. This is an ideal circumstances retrieval. We're actually going to have 3 relics in the cathedral by 9:40 or 9:45, which is an insane timing. A few pointers. After we started professional scouts, we followed it up immediately with the wheelbarrow tech, which also helps make villagers safer as they can run away faster from attackers, which will help with outpost production, which will help with us getting those springolds ready. This outpost was actually destroyed. All throughout, we've had 2 villagers on stone, which is just enough to make several springolds emplacements, which cost 93 stone. We're also starting Lancer production now, or Knight, I should say, which is the same thing. From these 2 stables, we have a blacksmith getting armor upgrade momentarily, which will help against horse archers, or indeed many other things. Note that these knights have 4 armor, which means they're already only taking 1 damage from the town center, which means we could actually start harassing, buying time, harassing his warrior monks, taking back sacred sites if they go for it. We could kill their monks, we could harass villagers, lots of different things are possible. All of our gold is now coming from the relics, and depending on your success with this phase of the game, you can actually pull all villagers off of gold. If you manage to retrieve only 2 relics, you may want to keep 4 villagers on gold, and if you actually retrieve only 1 relic, you may want to keep 6 to 7 villagers on gold, which are buffed by the Regnitz. I'm now starting several outposts to defend different places against horse archers. Now, this is later than needed if you have a strictly defensive approach. If you're like fully turtling without any units at all, you may need these outposts earlier. You also want a marketplace earlier so you can buy more wood for more outposts. Here's my marketplace. But because in theory I've been harassing his villagers with my knights, I'm basically okay to throw those away to build up my town behind this. And I've been killing villagers in theory, even though I'm against an AI here and I'm not focusing on controlling them as much. All of this would be lost mining time. This outpost now has a springald emplacement. I'm going to put springald emplacements on every tower around. These towers give vision. They're a fallback point for prelates, knights, villagers, what have you. And they are also bonus damage, as every springald tower does 60 damage into range. That means they're double shotting enemy horse archers if they're not upgraded with Boyard's Fortitude yet. So from this point onwards, we can go many directions. We could stay on castle for a while, get like double stable. We can start producing mangonels. We can start getting economy upgrades. Note, I haven't got anything except professional scouts and wheelbarrow at this time. But we could start those upgrades and stay extended in Castle Age. But I also wanted to show what it looks like after making about 6 knights or so, which is I think what I did, maybe about 6 knights, to hightail it into Palace of Swabia at 12 minutes and 30. This isn't the fastest possible Palace of Swabia. Fastest possible is on water maps with the help of fishing boats, that bonus food production that you get from that, in a completely no-fight game. You're not making any knights, you're not really making 4 prelates to try and retrieve relics or anything like that. And you're not making towers with springald emplacements, you're maybe making 1 wall on Black Forest. So this isn't the fastest possible, but it's insanely fast when you consider we've got 5 towers with springalds made, we've got 4 stables, we've got blacksmith upgrade, we've got a mangonel in production. And this is all considering I made 6 knights, harassed with them and lost them. I made 4 scouts and so on. So a really fast imperial timing. I'm starting to upgrade into veteran horseman, which is a concession into thinking like, yeah, I think my opponent has, for example, lots of crossbowmen to counter my knights, or maybe they've got bombards coming, or maybe they've got spearman or something. Well, not spearman actually, forget about that. Maybe they've got horse archers, and a combination of knights and horse archers can do very well into horse archers. A combination of knights and horsemen, I should say. As they will buy a lot of time, they'll do a lot of damage. He'll be forced to micro his behind off to actually dodge horseman knight attacks. And that allows us to click the Palace of Swabia, which can make villagers for 12 food every 5 seconds. And what I actually do is I uncontrol group my main town center, as I think making villagers this cheaply is worth more. This town center produces villagers for 1/4 of the cost as fast as 4 town centers can do. So I don't really feel like I need full price villager production from my main town center at the speed of 1 town center. So I spam Q on the Swabia. If I want to make any extra prelates, I do that from my main town center. But pretty much this is my new building. And you're just going to rally it on top of a resource node and enjoy the benefits. Marketplace, by the way, was used about 8 to 10 times to buy food in order to afford the Palace of Swabia when I did. Because with 3 relics, you'll find your gold racking up very quickly, more than the 960 that you require for Palace of Swabia. So you're gonna hit that food buying from the marketplace about 6 to 10 times, depending on how much food and gold you've got. The deer carcasses that you brought back are a really good food generation source. And now that you've got to this point in the game, you can start locking it down. A bit of movement impairing walls so that he can't horse archer harass the back of your base. You can start making various kinds of blocking walls. You've got towers in various places. Scouts are kind of placed around the map in order to have advance warning when you get attacked. And at this time, it's time to just really ramp up production. Start making a lot of wood so that you can afford farms. Nice 8 farms per mill around your Aachen chapel. You can delete this lumber camp. You can delete this one. Make a nice patch of farms here around your town center. Here around the mill and so on and so forth. Make up your house production, spam elite horsemen, which I have now, use your blacksmith, get that juicy gold put to good use, and keep producing from the Swabia. And that's the ideal circumstances. Fast castle, fast feudal, fast imperial with Palace of Swabia. Getting the relics back. If you don't get harassed too much, it works. If the Rus isn't like perfectly on time with all of his timings, it works as well. Hope you enjoyed that build order. And now I'm gonna do another one where I show you a different variation. Let's see, what are we going to... Okay. Gold, deer, and wood. Perfect. That is perfect. Awesome. So sheep go on this side. So let's start to use it. Scout, F6. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's a school that used to be near City Plaza but had a bad reputation for kids fighting. I went to it. And did you fight? Yeah, I never fought with Montessori kids. In fact, I didn't fight much. But there was a school that kind of had a bad rep with us. It was the mirror image of our school. So there was an Anna van Rijn College that was at the Albatross location. And then there was an Anna van Rijn at the Harmonielaan location. And those guys always wanted to fight with us when there was a joint party. Sadly, it's really sad. So you would have your little circle of friends jamming out to Eminem. And you'd just be looking to talk and look at girls. And then those kids from the Harmonielaan would walk. They really had nothing to do, or they didn't know the lyrics to the song. They would walk through your party and then look at you. What? And we didn't want to fight. Why would people fight? Right?
Ja, gar. Ja.
Was? Yo.
This is how I started in RTS gaming. Well, not exactly.
Hier, laufe.
How do you decide how many men to put on a building? Well, think of it like this. 5 men on one barracks and then the second barracks in a row builds 2 barracks as fast as 2 men split 1-1. Is that clear? So 2 can do the job of 5, so long as you put them on different buildings. This shows the inherent inefficiency of power building a building. The only reason, therefore, that you would want to power build is to finish a given building faster. So you need to really want it to do it. So how many do you need? How many do you want on that building? That's the question. So for landmarks, sometimes you can reach breaking points faster if you power build it. Don't overdo it, basically.
Ja.
Dorfmann, Hofgarten, Dorfmann. Dorfmann hier, Dorfmann. Zieht ab. Ja, inti.
So now I'm power building a stables, and it's because I really want it.
Im Frühling, Aruti,
He did not make use of the deer. I am resisting the temptation to go for an early wheelbarrow. Making a full gold and food economy. I want to rush out 4 horses. And then rush up.
Dorfmann hier. Jage auf Wade. Ritter da bereit. Recht zu, aber gar nicht. Das
We're gonna be able to age up fairly fast, guys. Fairly fast indeed.
Die Hoheit. Bereit. Höret zu.
I'm gonna start making prelates already. That's how crazy I am. Uh-oh, 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 na-na-na.
Die heiße Queen. Werde nur Fleisch. Sitz zu und spazieren. Nicht gehört. Just ja. Lasset uns gehen.
Die heiße Quimmer.
Ich bin bereit. Ich gehe. Ja, siehe aber.
This age up timing is criminal, guys. Chances are he's actually doing professional scouts, which is slowing him down a lot.
Ich bin bereit. Höret geheißen. Ich gehe.
Bereit. Ja. Die Hoheit. Ich werfe warte das Ruhen. Es ist genügend.
Oh my god, 735, guys.
Bereit? Was?
Kommen zur Ordnung, Ritere.
Lol.
Ich bin was wünschst. Bin geheiß. Bereit zu gehorchen.
Go pop in here for a second. And then out again.
Bereit zugen für die
Hochgesattelt und bereit. Bereit zum Abziehen. Marschgehäß.
Beheere bereit zum Recht.
Ritere bereit.
Bin geheiß. Ja, ja. Ich bin bereit zu gehorchen.
All your relics are belong to me.
Ritere fest.
Beheere wie du hinne.
Hello, prelate.
Gehäß. Bereit zum Abziehen. Komme zur Ordnung.
Wololo.
Herin ihre Botschaft.
Ritere, Ritere. Gebet mir Gehäß. Komme zur
Ich bin bereit. Mein Weg ist klar.
Sie zu und geheißen. Ritere bereit auf Riten wir Ritere.
Den geheiß. Was das? Bereit zu gehorchen.
Gehorchet alle. Was sie zu und geheißen.
Was wünschst
Bereit zum Abziehen. Riten.
Den geheiß.
Eine Ehre zu gehorchen. Ja, ja.
Zieht zum Gewehrkopf.
Hören Sie zum Abziehen, Lüd.
Bereit zu gehorchen. Ich bin bereit.
Ritere festgesetzt. Was soll getan werden? Unsere Wegen dahin. Ritere fest.
Bereit für Geselle.
Gib mir Gehäuse. Stan.
Du als Hochjahr.
Den geheiß. Heilige Giftes Ministry.
Geschüsse kommen. Gehei, komme zur Sitze, Riten. Bereit aufgesetzt. Riten nur hin. Gehorcht.
Was? Wir haben nach geheiß. Bereit zu gehorchen. Wir haben nach geheiß. Den geheiß. Was wünschst du? Ich bin danach geheiß.
Ritere.
Beheere bereit.
Was soll getan werden? Unterwegs.
Gehorsamkeit ist eine Tugend.
Was wünscht mein Weg ist klar. Den geheiß. Ich bin bereit zu gehorchen. Das wird getan. Bereit zu gehorchen. Heiligkeit richtet mich. Was wünscht du? Führe die Schritte.
Komme zur Ordnung.
Die jetzige Zeit zur Fahrt. Gehorsamkeit ist eine
Was
Tugend.
zieht zum Gewehrkopf?
Sind zum Gewehrkopf.
Zieht zum
Oh. Lol.
Sind zum Abziehen.
Es wird getan.
Den geheiß. Was wünscht du? Bereit zu gehorchen. Sie haben nach geheiß.
Gehorchet alle.
Bereitet, Juchgesellen. Jan, jagen.
Ausgesattelt.
Gehäß wird aufgesettelt und Rite.
Zieht zum Gewehrkopf. Bereit, etwas Arbeit zu tun.
Bereitet, Juch für Geheiß.
Ich bin bereit zur Gehorchen.
He got one relic, sucks.
Was soll
Ich bin bereit. Bereit zu gehorchen. Heiligkeit richtet meine Schritte.
was soll
Das soll mich überlegen. Gehorchet alle. Tue ich das nun? Ich werde das für dich errichten. Gehorchet alle. Aber Lütz. Ich lasse das als Stadt bauen.
Lubretit, ich riete fort. Komme
GG. 4 relics against 1. Dude, this build was insane. What time did we castle? We went so fast this game. 7:35. Oh. That's insane, dude.